Are you ready?
Agility from the champion.
Oh,
deep six! That could be a delivered this deep six.
This is episode 164, and it is Tuesday night, nearly 11 o'clock Eastern time. I am joined by Joe Aguila stepping in for Brandon Ash tonight. Joe, how are you doing, sir?
What's up, Wayne? How's it going? Happy to fill in. Happy to be here, bro.
Thank you so much. We're gonna jump right in. We're gonna be coming in hot. We're gonna start the show right away. We're not gonna waste our time. Raw, the way it ended last night, very, very good promo that we saw, the back and forth between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins as they had their contract signing. Of course, this is the build to WWE, their main event, Summerslam. Whether it's going to be night one or night two, who knows? Probably going to be night one, if I have to guess. The World Heavyweight Championship. But tempers flared. Contact was made between the two of them. We had a little brawl. And Joe, if you want, I'll let you start to help us take us through what happened during the contract signing last night.
Yeah. My one big takeaway from this, no table break. There was a tease for that table break, and I really wanted it, but no table break. It's all right. But yes, it was good. It was good, I think. Classic contract signing, a little promo action from both sides. Here's the thing. With this matchup, once it was made, I did not need to be sold or promoted this match. I was ready for SummerSlam and just ready to get going. But it is cool to see, these two guys who have so much history together, have so much success on their own, really just see them at the top of their game and being ready to headline a major event for the company. These guys have become pillars for the WWE in the last couple of years, and to see them have their flowers, this may be the last time we're going to see them at their peak with each other. So could this be the last time, for instance, the last time we saw John Cena and Randy Orton face off, was on the retirement tour, but the one before that, we kind of felt like, hey, this is the last time we're going to see this. So I'm getting that type of vibe this time around. Also to say, for both of these guys, where do they go from here once they're at both of them at the mountaintop again? Certainly I would imagine Roman Reigns. I mean, who knows how long he's going to be able to keep this, work schedule up, and especially how big he's getting. Both of them are very successful. But yeah, ultimately, listen, the contract signing is a contract signing. I'm just waiting for that table break. Table break never happened.
I mean, honestly, I can tell you long term where they're heading. War Games, which is going to be live from Houston, Texas this year. I can see the bloodline is already building their rivals with LA Knight, Solo Sikoa. There was a third guy in there. I forgot who
Royce.
it was. Royce Keys. So they are low key building to War Games in the midst of building up their individual feuds as well. So this is like a dual layered program, and I've been seeing it for a while now, the past couple of years, where Triple H not only builds his singles feuds, but at the same time he's puts it all together and builds up the War Games feuds. And I can see that right now. As it stands right now, we're gonna have Royce Keys, we're gonna have LA Knight, we're gonna have Solo Sikoa, more than likely Seth Rollins, or you can throw Montez Ford in there against the Bloodline for sure. I can see it coming already. So that's the long-term effect. Singles, as far as the singles feud between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, this is, we're coming towards the end. I mean, even Seth Rollins even said a couple weeks ago that there are other people waiting in line, and we've had more days behind us than we have ahead of us. So Seth Rollins acknowledging basically that there's not a whole lot of time left, but there might be a little bit though.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, they're both at the mountaintop. This is where they built their careers to head towards, and stars aligned once again for SummerSlam.
Yeah, so a couple key moments we had here during this signing. The arena got very loud for the both of them, which was pretty cool to hear. They were chanting OTC, and then another group of people singing Seth's song, and that arena got loud. Roman Reigns goes on to say that, I'll show you what number one looks like. And then Seth, before that, says there are three things that are certain: death, taxes, and beating Roman Reigns. So there's a lot of banter back and forth. Roman goes on a rant saying that Seth is always going to be number two. And then after all, he goes on to say you had to win a briefcase to win your titles. So there was some shots back and forth between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins here. And it had my attention. So there's really not a whole lot more to hit up on with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins right this second, except for the fact that who's coming out of SummerSlam winning this match between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins for the world title? Who do you think?
So to your point, I think going into, like, if we're building towards War Games, who do I think would benefit more going into War Games with the title? I think it would be Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns somehow pulls some shenanigans, classic bloodline shenanigans, that helps build towards War Games, that will help continue the rivalry with Seth Rollins. Maybe they can carry it all the way to Mania. Who knows? But as of now, I think my money's on Roman Reigns retaining it through some bloodline chicanery.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even know. I can't really sit here and tell you for certain that there's going to be interference in this match, but it wouldn't surprise me. However, I do see the possibility that Roman Reigns will retain. And I'm almost 100% chance that Roman's going to retain here. I don't see Seth winning this title. Roman Reigns' title run and the development of the reigniting of the bloodline storyline has plenty of legs underneath it. And with that being said, I don't see Roman Reigns dropping his title until Mania.
Yeah, well, listen, we got the Street Fighter movie coming out in, I believe, November. I think something like that. I think they were going to want to put that title on Roman Reigns on the red carpet. That'd be kind of cool to look at, to see that. And also maybe have that passing with, Cody Rhodes on the red carpet. One guy with the title, one guy without it. Maybe, a little planting seeds there. I mean, again, this is long-term, but just thinking, what could the company do with a champion who is in the spotlight in pop culture right now? Not to mention, we also have Seth Rollins. He recently did an ALS Ice Bucket Challenge to support, I believe it was Chris Johnson. I think it was somebody who recently got diagnosed with ALS. So he just he went ahead and so it was cool to see, a potential face of the company, champion, really, going out there and doing some really cool stuff for the on behalf of the company, in representing the company. You know what I mean? And so thinking about that, you got two guys who, like I said, represent the company in such a way that either of them could carry the mantle. I just think that Roman Reigns is going to retain it for quite a while.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think I think Roman Reigns is dropping this at Mania to boy, Obafemi.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna happen. Obafemi's gonna win the Royal Rumble. The writing's on the wall. But moving on, how we got here: Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and then Punk versus then Punk versus Cody Rhodes. Both the challengers basically asked the champions for a title shot. I mean, come on here. Like, no number one contendership. Seth Rollins should have won the Royal Rumble and then have Brock Lesnar cost Obafemi, the King of the Ring, to give us a legit reason as to why we're having the third match at Hell in a Cell at SummerSlam. It would have just made more sense. You had Seth Rollins in the tournament. Why didn't you just have him win the tournament to justify the reason why he should get a title shot, rather than him coming out on Raw 2 weeks ago asking Roman Reigns for a title shot? Now, the same thing goes for Cody. However, Cody Rhodes did win his number one contendership match with Jey Uso, but then he got taken out by Gunther. So I can understand the reasoning why, Cody comes out, confronts Punk, asking him for a title shot. That I get, that makes sense. But when you have champions in the King of the Ring tournament, when you have somebody in the King of the Ring tournament loses in the first round and gets a title shot at SummerSlam anyway, it doesn't make great booking sense to me.
100% agreed. Yeah, man.
Because apparently wins and losses don't really matter. You have Nikki Bella last year losing matches left and right on TV, and then she gets a title shot ahead of Roxanne Perez, who was winning every single week. It just, a lot of wins and losses apparently don't matter in WWE.
Yeah. Dude, and what was the point of the tournament? What was the point of? I mean, yes, he's the King of the Ring. He's not even called King Oba. You know what I mean? At least, we had King Sheamus for a while. We had King Booker. We had King Barrett for a little bit. He's the ruler. But at the same time, there is such a case for Obafemi to be in that title picture, and it surprised me that on the women's side we have Io Sky, the Queen of the Ring, and already 100% called her shot immediately after winning. And Obafemi looked like he was probably going to try to do something similar. I mean, obviously we got Brock Lesnar, and that's going to steal our focus. And similar to how I felt about, I don't know if this is a transition to it, but similar to how I felt about, go ahead.
Well, are you headed towards the Lesnar promo?
Yeah, for sure. So similar, the match was set. I'm good to just go to SummerSlam. It's promoted. I'm good. I want to see it. But seeing the focus now on just the Lesnar match, and I hope one day there is going to be a time where Oba's going to be like, hey, I am the king. I'm owed a title shot. Give me my title shot. But to your point, that's then going to be a person asking for a shot and then them just getting it. As opposed to that immediate, here is your reward for becoming king.
Lesnar opens up Monday Night Raw. This is a pretty fun segment. I love the visual of everything that happened. Obviously, we know they're actors, but the visual was really good. Lesnar opens up the show and is flanked by a group of officers that was waved down by Heyman. Now, let me tell you, what this is tell the kids of our generation, is this going to convey a message to the kids that it's okay to beat up on cops and throw them over the top rope or over the fence or kick them down? So, what kind of message is this bringing? But
it's very funny.
It was fun to see. It's very fun to see.
So this is where you draw the line. This is where we draw the line. And for me, I draw the line where this becomes strictly entertainment, Whereas, so for instance, ready? I don't want to go on. I'm
surprised the cops didn't bring the at least act like they're bringing the guns out. You
had the smallest one. You had the smallest one go up to Obafemi and be like, "Hey, I gotta arrest you now." That dude went flying. But I'm to your point, no, I don't think it sends that an incorrect message, as long as it's clear that this is a cartoon, that this is entertainment, this is soap opera.
Do not try this at home.
No, this is just, I believe, where were they? Detroit? Or something like that?
They were in Dallas, Texas last night.
Dallas, sorry. So Dallas finest, right? No, I don't think that's where were they? Weren't they in Brazil or something like that one time? And they did something to a flag. Chris Jericho did something to the flag, and they thought it was real. And they were this was like warrants for his arrest and stuff. And so it's like, where do we draw the line of like, hey guys, this is just actors. We're all having fun here. They're part of the show. This is like the carnival aspect of it. We suspend our disbelief and think this is theater.
So, so we get as the promo goes on, we're reminded that Oba turned down the opportunity to fight for a title, just to kind of find some kind of
focus on
justifying reasoning as to why Oba is not in the title match, even though he won the King of the Ring, which has made no sense whatsoever. Not to Oba's fault, but we're reminded that he turned down the opportunity to fight for a title, to fight Lesnar instead. Lesnar calls Oba a clinger, a stalker, and is obsessed with him, and that he is a big Nigerian dummy for turning down a title shot. Heyman also says that Lesnar is obsessed with Oba as well, and that obsession is going to turn into violence. And also, Heyman goes on to say that there is a restraining order against Oba. He can't come within 100 feet of Oba, and a restraining order on Lesnar as well. But Oba decides to take out all the cops. And then he goes on to tell Lesnar, he says he will not be able to run from Oba at Hell in a Cell. It turns out later that we find out in the show that Heyman was bluffing and the cops weren't real. Kayfabe. We obviously knew the cops weren't real anyway, but they had to throw that in there. And Oba says that he knew it, and that Lesnar and Heyman are afraid. So here we go. The stage is set between Oba and Lesnar. I feel like we may have one more segment between the two of them before SummerSlam where maybe they touch and get into a little physical altercation before Hell in a Cell. Maybe, maybe not, but I feel like we've seen as much as we need to leading into this match. All right, Joe. So we're close to SummerSlam now. We're at the point where we can start kind of throwing out predictions here. Where do you think we're going to go as far as the winner and loser of this match?
Right now, I could go either way. I think the right thing to do is to put Obafemi over, go with the future, go with the guy that's going to carry the mantle of being the beast, the current beast incarnate. I'm more focused on like what spots could these two big beasts do in Hell in a Cell, that we haven't seen before. Like what part of the cage is breaking down, what part of the ring is breaking, who's jumping off the top, that's it. A lot can happen in Hell in a Cell. I'm more right now. My inkling is Obafemi. I just can't wait for the violence.
Oba has to win this match, period. Yeah. It's 1-1. I mean, I don't think Oba should have taken any losses here, but whatever. It's 1-1. This is it. This is the rubber match. It's in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Potentially could be Lesnar's last match. This should have been one and done at WrestleMania, in my opinion. And they should have just had Oba dominate every single week, dominate through the King of the Ring, and have his title shot and make him champion at SummerSlam. But no, WWE had to get in their own way again. And let's run Oba and Lesnar again. And then again.
Yep.
They could have done this match as Saturday night's main event and still have Oba challenge for the title at SummerSlam. But anyhow, I digress.
I think you even had mentioned once that they could have done it night 1 and then Obafemi keeps the title shot night 2. I mean, that's a lot of work for Obafemi.
They could. It would have been like a little too convoluted. They could have done that too. But that it would have really, I would have not really liked that either, because again, we've had Saturday night main event dangling all along, which is this Saturday. You could have your big match there. Lesnar, Oba, end it there, Madison Square Garden, and then let Oba go on. But anyway, you got Oba versus Lesnar in the cage. Oba has to win. It's time that WWE starts putting over new stars. It's getting I don't want to say it's getting stale yet, but we're headed to that point because we have the same guys in the main event scene for 4 or 5 years now, since WrestleMania 39. We got to get some new guys moving up. We got to get Oba in the main event picture. You got to bring up guys like Ricky Saints. Trick Williams is gonna have to be in the main event scene soon. Tangling up with guys like Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. We need to see fresh feuds up main event, which is something that we were talking about last week's show with AEW. When we were covering last week's Dynamite, is AEW has such a plethora of talent, such a large roster that company could do a legit brand split if they wanted to, and just keep the two shows separate if they want. WWE, I don't think needs to be doing a brand split anymore. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
You have competition with AEW now, TNA, and whatever other promotions out there. You have competition. You don't have to compete against your show and do this Raw versus SmackDown thing anymore. Have 2 world titles, have 2 tag team champions, which there's no division for. But anyhow, it's time. Like, all these main eventers are either 40 or older. LA Knight's an exception because he hasn't really been given that push yet. He can still go, and the fans are still hot for LA Knight. I need to see him in the main event scene a little bit more to keep this product fresh. And even Sami Zayn, I think he needs to be in the main event more. Even though he's 41, he needs to be up on the main event scene. Doesn't necessarily have to win a title, have a long title run or anything like that, but just to keep the product fresh instead of having the same guys year after year main eventing WrestleMania and SummerSlam. It's time that they put the belt. It's time that Brock Lesnar pushes Oba, passes the torch, and just be done. And let Oba get ready for the next feud leading into Royal Rumble season, and then go from there. So we need to see changing of the guards a little bit for sure. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, bringing up the fact that SummerSlam's going to be in Brock Lesnar's hometown, so to speak. I think that it's just poetry for him to go out on his sword at home and just be there and have that moment be about Brock Lesnar. And if that's the case, then yeah, I agree that he does not need a title shot that night. But also, to your point, we got some old champions. We got some hungry new talent that's waiting, and we have Obafemi who's leading the charge, and he is so new to the scene and already such an explosive presence. He's going to not only take the mantle, but he's going to run with it, and it's going to be no stopping him after SummerSlam.
Moving on really quick. We're not going to spend too much time on this because we want to get to the next thing. I just kind of threw this in here last second. Roxanne versus Io. We're building to the WWE World's Heavyweight Championship match here. Liv Morgan winning the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. Still has yet to defend her World Heavyweight Championship, which makes no sense to me. Absolutely makes no sense. So this is her first title defense, and it's going to be against Io, whom you mentioned earlier, the winner of the Women's Queen of the Ring, immediately calling her shot after her win against Liv Morgan and telling her that she is going to challenge Liv Morgan after beating her in the final. So here we are, but in the meantime, Io has been roughing it up with Judgment Day the past couple weeks now. We see Judgment Day getting involved in the match with Roxanne versus Io last night. And even before Io's match with Liv Morgan, but to no avail, Io wins. She beats Roxanne, and Roxanne and Raquel go on to attack Io from there, softening her up for her match in just a couple weeks. But then Sol Ruka attempts to come for the save of Io, but Raquel takes out Sol Ruka. And Liv Morgan once again attacks Io, hitting Io with the belt, standing tall once again. So this is also building to the SummerSlam here. Where do we go from here with Liv Morgan? I think Liv Morgan's never gotten a win over Io Sky, to my knowledge. I think Liv finally retains, and I think we're eventually going to get to that rematch with Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer at some point. What do you think about that?
I actually liked the fact that they made the heels look really strong, and it's a good thing. It's a good part of the storytelling. I think that it was good for an attempted save from Sol Ruka, and you saw the crowd pop for her, and she put in some of her Sol Ruka offense. But then you got Raquel looking strong as heck, catching Sol Ruka mid-move, and then just bashing her against the wall, bashing her up against the post, and then power bombing her. That was nuts. And Raquel looked super strong with that. And then that went right into the Oblivion, followed by the title shot, a title to the head, which also looked really gnarly. The Judgment Day women's version looks strong as heck. And so
Absolutely.
Good for them for that. And if Liv Morgan's not going to defend and retain that title as often as we think she should, then they need to play that Mean Girls bully kind of pack mentality and carry that, because that's the same sort of mentality to the point with the bloodline. That's how Roman Reigns was able to sustain almost like over 1,000 days as champion, often having the pack mentality, and so having that strategy with Liv Morgan, who's not going to defend that title as often, I think that's the right way to go. Going into SummerSlam, I think that I want to see. I always like seeing Io as champion, and it's kind of cool seeing her push. And it's like a really genuine push from her hard work, from being able to put on a show, from being able to be a star, to captivating the crowd during the matches. She's got everything going for her, and I dream of a match of Stephanie Vaquer returning and challenging Io Sky. I think that would be a really cool title shot. But there's some unfinished business with Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan, and the company really seems to be loving Liv Morgan right now. So I think they're gonna stick with Liv Morgan on this one.
Between the two women's titles, there's only been two title defenses since WrestleMania, and that's Rhea defending her title twice, and Liv 0. Why in the world do we have two women's world champions at this point?
Yeah.
Don't understand that.
Yep.
They got to go back to merging the women's title, 100%.
Yeah, and now you also muddy the waters with two women's mid-card titles, which are they have enough talent that they're sustaining at least storylines, so to speak. But it's just like, our focus is not on champions being champions right now. And it's hard to see.
Correct. Moving on, we had the Vision last night. The Vision, along with Maxine, Austin Theory was out there. Logan Paul's in the background. Braun Breaker taking out Otis and Tozawa. And the Vision, it comes to the ring. They're greeted with a heavy boos. They're quickly interrupted by Otis and Tozawa. Tozawa's like, "Why, Maxine? Why?" Anyway, the Vision takes out Otis and Tozawa. Possibly, we were about to get Otis confessing his love for Maxine until Austin Theory interrupts, like, wait, you're gonna tell her you love her, blah 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 blah. This was the hokiest promo I've seen in a long time. This was so hokey. I'm like, what are we doing here? But it took a turn, and just as Otis is about to kiss Maxine, because Maxine was going in for a kiss, with Otis's back turned, I knew something was going to happen because you can't see anything behind Otis. It's literally just Maxine and Otis taking up the TV screen. I'm like, I'm waiting for it. And sure enough, Austin Theory gives Otis the low blow. For a hot minute, Otis is clearing the ring, but the vision was just too much. Braun Breaker gets a spear on Otis, and so Maxine's heel turn is further solidified. But the point I really want to hit up is, I mean, again, the tag team division is so thin. We're probably going to get a feud between Otis and Tozawa versus Division. I think it's gonna be like a Monday Night Raw thing, maybe future Saturday Night main event or something. I don't know. I don't think it's anything that's gonna take up time on the PLE though. But there's one little point that I want to hit up here. Paul Heyman basically walks on Division once again. He's like, Maxine, you were wonderful out there. You did such a good job. And why don't I just go home? You guys don't need me. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Was this like passing the vision on to Maxine? Like what? What is happening here? Maxine's like, you did so well. What the hell do you need me for? Then he walks away.
Yeah. I like this. So I think this is layers to this. And here's the thing. I think that when they first envisioned the Vision, it was with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and it was like a really heavy-hitting type of stable. Over the course of the couple of years that it's been trying now, we've gotten injury after injury. Logan Paul's in there now.
They're snake bitten. They've been snake bitten. Paul and Logan Paul, to his credit, showing up every week still.
Yeah, and then Austin Theory in there now. Now Maxine. So here's the thing: why is Paul Heyman with them at all? Should they really be advocated by Paul Heyman? He's such a huge name who should be focusing just on like the Brock Lesnar Obafemi thing, but he's kind of. And so I like this kind of storyline where it's kind of like the Vision now needing to kind of prove to Paul Heyman, hey, we're worth being Paul Heyman people. And I like that right now the focus is saying, you know what, Maxine is the one that's impressing Paul Heyman. And to your point, I think that it is passing the torch to maybe having Maxine kind of take on like a more manager role, that heel manager role, which is a new role for her, which I think is a refreshing role. The problem is going to be the writing. And like you were saying, like the promo, the whole entire story with the why didn't you say anything about your feelings? Like, we don't need all of this. Not to mention, like, there are enough smart fans to know that this is all fiction because Maxine's really like recently married to some NXT superstar, I think, right? And so like it's all soap opera, and I can accept it as that. But I think that Maxine was not going anywhere as a babyface. And so seeing her, kind of solidify herself more into the heel character, the heel persona, they needed to do a hard severing between Maxine and Otis and Tozawa. And so doing something like this is necessary. I just wish the writing was better.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that was one of the hokiest promos I've seen in a long time. It was just very hokey. But we'll see where we go with this Paul Heyman thing. And also the Braun Breaker aspect of this, he has, like, he's not I feel like he's trending backwards. Like he's been downgraded here. Like
Yep.
you had him opening up Monday Night Raw in Brooklyn, the top of this year, for a World Heavyweight Championship match against CM Punk, in which Braun Breaker should have won. But hindsight's 2020. Maybe it's better that he didn't at that point in time because he had gotten injured. But it's like as if Oba's going in one direction to the moon, and Braun Breaker, he's basically relegated to tag team division right now.
Yeah,
feuding with Tozawa and Otis.
It's so hard to watch.
Here?
It's hard to see it. Yeah, and I had such hope.
I mean, it's not even that it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch for Braun Breaker because we know that Braun Breaker should be in the main event scene with fresh faces in the main event scene fighting for this title.
Yeah, man. It's the curse of being beaten by Punk. It's like that was his peak right there, right? It was a title shot, and and the promos leading up to that title shot, like it was like, yeah, phenomenal. He belongs in the main. He's a main eventer.
Yeah, it's something's got to change here, but I'm honestly, I fans aren't gonna like what I'm about to say here, but I'm a little tired of seeing Rollins, Punk on my TV every single week. We need to get a little bit younger here. Those guys are kind of holding back the new guys coming in.
Or at least they shouldn't be feuding with each other. They should be feuding with the younger guys to help shepherd them in.
Yeah, granted, we haven't seen Cody Punk. However, again, I mean, after this, we need to start going in different directions here.
Agreed.
But I'm going to ask you a theoretical question a little bit later about Cody versus Punk to close out the show and our closing thoughts. But anyhow, let's move on. Bayley versus Lyra. Don't want to spend a lot of time on this one, but
okay.
I like the feud that we've seen. I have a feeling that Bayley is on the road to exiting the company at some point. Her contract ends this year. I feel like unless she gets a good offer from WWE, she is going to bounce and probably go to AEW, where it makes more sense as a landing spot to work in that women's division. Maybe reunite with Mercedes Moné. Maybe get the one-on-one match between Bayley and Mercedes. But a lot of the wrestling fans, even on the AEW side, will know a lot of the backstory between Sasha and Bayley. But Bayley is in the ring, and as we know, Lyra turned on her about 2 weeks ago. Asks Lyra to come out just so they can have a face-to-face. Lyra comes out, and as you can see, Lyra has changed her look. She looks like she hasn't slept in about a week or two. But she changed her look just to lean into that heelish character a little more that she's trying to tap into. But yeah, Lyra snaps on Bayley for being held back for a whole year, basically telling Bayley that she's been held back. And she says that she was lying to Bayley the whole entire time, that she drags everyone down. Lyra's saying this about Bayley. And that's Bayley doesn't belong on the posters, the trucks, and she's always been the worst of the 4 horsewomen. And as good as Bayley is, I would say the 3 other horsewomen were probably better, or at least achieved more in the ring. But so Bayley challenges Lyra to Saturday night's main event, which is this Saturday, Madison Square Garden. Bayley gets so Bayley counters a cheap shot from Lyra, and then Lyra takes out Bayley after that. More than likely, if I have to guess, Lyra's gonna go over against Bayley at Saturday night's main event. I think that's the move you gotta do. I don't know if you do more than one match with these ladies, but I feel like we're getting to the point where with Bayley where this might be her last feud in WWE, where she could be putting over Lyra on the way out at some point if it's not this Saturday.
Yeah, man. I think I'm reminded there's a character in Boy Meets World. There's one episode where one of the characters dates a girl who in the beginning is acoustic guitar and she's all sunshine and rainbows, and then when they break up she becomes super moody and broody and becomes like super grunge, and like that's the whole entire vibe that I got from Lyra, because she's just like, like you said, like doesn't look like she was sleeping, very little makeup, hair all in her face, and just like very, very dark. And like it's a very, I think, lazy, I hate to say the word lazy, kind of take on this darker, gimmick. But I think that, sorry, my car's going off. Hold on. I think that with Lyra, there's not really too many places where she can go, even as a heel. And I think that this dark persona of Lyra is going to be what it is. I think if she's going to need the rub from Bayley, I think, from Saturday night's main event, she needs the win for sure if she's going to have any type of legitimacy as a heel in this. And also, I think that it could be Bayley's last feud, and she has, in the last season of her career, gotten used to really playing second fiddle to anyone else in that main event picture, to be able to put them over and to make them look really, really strong, to get super, super close to winning a championship and then falling short. I mean, that was she hasn't even had one of the mid-card titles, And so
if Bayley stays with WWE, she is going to have a guaranteed contract with guaranteed money, no pay cut stipulations or anything like that. She is going to have that guaranteed contract for sure. Yeah. Otherwise, if she doesn't get what she's looking for, I hate to say it, but she is leaving WWE and going to AEW, which is fine by me because we'll still see her on TV.
Yeah,
but she won't really be known by Bayley anymore. Her ring name would probably be Pam something or Pamela or whatever her first name is, and But yeah, I don't think she can use the word. I don't think she owns the rights to Bayley. But
yeah, no. Could you see her in AAA, like kind of making a jump, like how Damian Priest made a jump?
I mean, we
she's already done work there.
Triple A,
but more like a mainstay there. I mean, I don't know. Would they offer her that and be like, hey, you could be the top dog there?
It's all about the money at the end of the day. You could throw her in NXT, work a couple weeks there, and then put her in AAA. It's all WWE.
It's really not about championships. It's not really about being about top dog, I guess.
Yeah, no. It's being used the right way is definitely important for sure, but you need the right payday. You got to be guaranteed money, no pay cut nonsense that TKO has been doing, especially with Sheamus, which is why Sheamus has exited the company. Yep. One more topic for the night before we get to our closing. We'll run through this. Number one contender of the IC title gauntlet match that we had. It starts off with Joe Hendry versus Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio's rolling. This is the first gauntlet match that we've seen for the IC title in 2.5 years that Corey Graves mentioned. But Dominic and Joe start off. Joe Hendry is distracted by JD McDonough, of course, and Dominic hits the 619, followed by the frog splash to beat Joe Hendry. Then next up is Javon Evans. During the match, Dan Housen curses Dominic JD goes after Danhausen, but then Javon puts the OG cutter on Dominic for the win. Dominic is eliminated. Then we get a banger of a match between Javon versus Dragon Lee. Javon Evans survives by pinning Evans. But then we get Rusev coming out, and he doesn't come from the main entrance. He comes from behind and ambushes Evans, which I thought was pretty cool. Rusev ends up beating Evans, and with that, then loses to Chad Gable. But after that match, Rusev continues to put the accolade on Gable, and so that happened. Ethan Page comes out, and Page and Gable have a banger. But Gable wins the gauntlet match by beating Page with the ankle lock. So we're going to see now Chad Gable versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. But I feel like this whole tournament, and coming off the heels of El Grande Americano versus OG Grande Americano, and the match that they had, and it was a match that's going to be remembered for a long time to come, with the unveiling of the mask being Chad Gable, and like that, him and Kaiser basically just lit up the wrestling world there. Chad Gable with all this momentum. I felt like this Intercontinental title gauntlet was designed for Chad Gable to win from the beginning. I felt like the writing was on the wall. And I believe Penta's had the belt for a decent title run. He's had the belt for probably about going on about 4 months now. As when SummerSlam arrives, that'll be about the 4-month mark that Penta's had the belt. I feel like Chad Gable is going to win his first ever singles championship, winning the Intercontinental title in his home city, Minneapolis, at SummerSlam. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. He put on a match of a lifetime with the El Grande Americano match. And I also think that it's very clear the way that Gable's wrestling now. He's taken so much influence from, the lucha style. And not to mention, he's won over the lucha fans. And so the fact that, he worked his way up, and this is why you like the gauntlet matches, because it's really like work up the very quick mountaintop to now look face to face at your SummerSlam opponent, and it's going to be Penta versus Gable, and I think it's coming full circle from where Chad Gable left Raw to go investigate the mysteries of Lucha Libre, and now we're here where he's come back from that whole entire story, that whole entire chapter, and now he is beloved by everybody. He has new music and a sort of new style of offense, and now he's probably going to get that Kurt Angle push and just start becoming like that go-to wrestler, to be the workhorse, to be the guy to actually put in the work on any given night. Everyone's going to remember that match for sure. And so, not to mention, you have with the IC picture, you have so many better dancing partners with such young guys who are hungry, who are ready to show off what they got going. And so that got me really excited for SummerSlam for sure.
Yeah, definitely excited about that. That's one wrestler from Minnesota who will be on the card that will be winning. The other one from Minnesota against Oba, he will not be winning. I'll tell you that much. But we are going to come to a close. I have a question for you. So I got a question for you. Yeah. If there is one big thing at SummerSlam, if you can choose one big thing that's going to happen, that's going to have the crowd buzzing the next day after SummerSlam, what is that big thing that could happen at SummerSlam this year?
I don't know, man. My
Because we
go-to is
know
always
last year
Undertaker.
Brock Lesnar was the surprise, and he showed up after the main event was over, night 2, and that's the one thing that had the crowd buzzing. What do you think is one big thing that WWE could do at SummerSlam to kind of help freshen things up a little bit and have the crowd buzzing the next night?
I always think new talent, but I don't know, man. What you got? Right now, I'm thinking Undertaker, but I don't think that's happening.
No. Okay. Here is one big thing that WWE could do at SummerSlam that will have the crowd buzzing, and that is turn Cody Rhodes heel.
Heel turn.
It's time. It's time. Yeah. Somebody's got to turn heel. Somebody's overdue. Punk is overdue for a heel turn, or Cody. Something I think is going to give in this match that is going to have us talking at the water cooler the next day at work. I think Cody could be the one to turn heel. He snaps, or for losing the match. They could do something with Sami Zayn. He interferes. But I'm thinking that is the one big thing is that we get a heel turn from either Punk or Cody at SummerSlam. It is time. We're getting a little stale now. I love Cody Rhodes, and you know that, but I think it's time where you have enough merch movers. You have Danhausen is selling merch like crazy. Even if Cody goes heel, he's still gonna sell a ton load of merch. Roman Reigns is selling merch. Oba is working his way there. Punk, he's always going to sell merch, but it's time where you can turn Cody heel and let's freshen up the product a little bit. Tell a little bit of a different story if you're going to insist on keeping the same guys in the main event scene the whole entire time. But it's a story that we have not seen on the main roster with Cody Rhodes since he came back at WrestleMania 38. It's been babyface the whole entire time.
It would be kind of cool if, let's say, somehow Cody Rhodes, rounds up the old Bullet Club guys and creates a version of the Bullet Club and has like a new fresh heel stable. You got Finn Balor, you got the Tamatanga.
They've been kind of feuding with Finn Balor and beating him up backstage, but
yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm throwing out ideas. Yeah,
you could always bring the club members back. I'm drawing a blank right now. They teamed with AJ for a while with the club. Gallows and Anderson. Just bring them back and maybe do something there with Finn Balor. And I feel like they definitely kind of missed the boat on having Finn Balor join AJ and Gallows and Anderson. With the club back then. But
you could also do some young guys like Ricky Saints, have Ricky Saints be his right-hand man. I think if you're going to build a Cody heel character, he's going to need to do some heel stuff. So, have a stable of young guys,
Yeah. But I think it's time where we got to make a change here. It's getting a little stale. I'm getting a little bit bored of seeing CM Punk.
Yeah, I like it
all the time. Let's change the character a little bit. Let's go heel. But
yeah.
So if there's one big thing I have to choose that's going to happen at SummerSlam, it's going to be the heel turn of either Punk or Cody.
Yeah, I agree. I think Punk's got enough, surprise pops already in this last season of his career. I think that Cody's due.
Yeah. Anyway, to those of you guys that are watching, that is a wrap for episode 164. We are moving along. Next week, we will not be talking WWE, but we will be talking AEW, as we are basically a week and a half out away from AEW All In, arguably AEW's biggest show of the year. So we will talk about Dynamite. We'll go into predictions next Wednesday, or Thursday rather, leading into AEW All In, which is next week already, end of next week. But this summer is flying by. SummerSlam will be a week or two after that. And
That's crazy.
Yeah, we are moving along here. But for those of you guys that are watching, Joe, thank you so much for hopping on tonight, filling in for Brandon, Ash, and we will be back with you guys next week. Be on the lookout for some shorts throughout the week, and we will catch you guys later. Have a good night, everybody.
Agility from the champion. Uh-oh! Oh,